What's going on, everyone? I hope you're having a great day wherever you're watching from. Before we get into this, take a second to hit the like button if you enjoy calm, well-researched conversations about crypto without hype or fear. And subscribe if you want more content focused on understanding markets instead of reacting emotionally. Now let's talk about what everyone is quietly asking right now. Is XRP about to go live in a way we've never seen before? And when people say live, what do they actually mean? Because this is where things often get misunderstood. And misunderstanding is where bad decisions start. So let's slow this down and talk clearly. You've probably seen the conversations: financial institutions, readiness, infrastructure, settlement, liquidity, real-world usage. These aren't new ideas, but the timing around them is what's getting attention. Not because someone promised a price move, not because of hype, but because of how systems evolve when they're finally mature enough to be used at scale. First, it's important to be very clear about one thing. Nothing in this video is financial advice. This is not a prediction, not a promise, and not a signal to buy or sell anything. Crypto markets are volatile, unpredictable, and influenced by many factors at once. What we're doing here is discussing structure, context, and possibility, not certainty. When people say XRP could be going live, they often imagine a single switch flipping, a sudden announcement, or an overnight transformation. That's not how financial systems work. Banks don't move fast, regulators don't act emotionally, and infrastructure doesn't roll out like a software update on your phone. It's gradual, layered, tested, and controlled. XRP was designed for payments, settlement, and liquidity movement. That has always been its purpose. Unlike many crypto assets that focus primarily on speculation or decentralized experimentation, XRP was built to interact with existing financial systems, not replace them overnight. That design choice is why it has always been controversial, and also why it continues to be relevant. Financial institutions care about three things above almost everything else: reliability, compliance, and efficiency. Speed matters, but not if it breaks systems. Innovation matters, but not if it introduces uncontrolled risk. XRP's technology has been live, tested, and operational for years. That matters far more than most people realize. Another thing people underestimate is how much preparation happens before anything becomes visible. Institutions don't announce exploration. They don't live stream testing. They don't post speculation on social media. They work quietly, often for years, before anything becomes public. By the time something looks sudden to the public, it's usually been planned for a long time. That's why market reactions can feel disconnected from headlines. Price doesn't move because of the news itself. It moves because of positioning, liquidity, and expectation. When expectations change faster than positioning, volatility appears. XRP exists in a unique regulatory context, especially in the United States. While many projects avoided regulators, XRP was forced to face them directly. That process was slow, public, and difficult, but it also created something rare in crypto: clarity through challenge. Institutions value clarity far more than excitement. Another misunderstood idea is adoption. Adoption doesn't mean every bank suddenly uses one asset for everything. It means systems begin to integrate where they make sense. Pilot programs, corridors, limited use cases, and gradual expansion. That's how real infrastructure grows. If XRP were to be used more broadly for settlement or liquidity, it wouldn't look dramatic at first. It would look boring, quiet, technical, and that's exactly how meaningful adoption usually starts. Markets, however, are emotional. People want instant validation. They want candles, movement, confirmation. But infrastructure doesn't care about emotion. It cares about function. This is where the gap between retail expectations and institutional reality becomes obvious. Retail traders often focus on short-term price action. Institutions focus on long-term cost reduction, efficiency, and risk management. These perspectives don't align on a daily chart. Another thing to understand is liquidity. Liquidity isn't about price going up. It's about the ability to move value efficiently without disrupting markets. XRP's liquidity profile has always been one of its key strengths. That's not exciting for speculation, but it's essential for settlement. When people talk about institutions being ready, what they usually mean is that systems, compliance frameworks, and operational reliability have reached a point where usage becomes practical, not experimental. That doesn't guarantee anything happens tomorrow. It means the environment becomes possible. Crypto history is full of moments where people expected fireworks and got silence instead. Silence doesn't mean failure. Sometimes it means the work moved out of public view. It's also important to understand that no single asset will dominate everything. Financial systems are complex, multiple solutions coexist. XRP doesn't need to replace everything to be relevant. It only needs to solve the problem it was designed to solve. One of the biggest mistakes people make is tying long-term value to short-term excitement. Excitement fades quickly. Utility compounds slowly. The reason XRP continues to be discussed, debated, and analyzed after all these years is because the problem it addresses hasn't gone away. Cross-border payments are still slow, settlement is still expensive, liquidity is still fragmented, those inefficiencies still exist. Does that mean XRP is guaranteed to be the solution? No, nothing is guaranteed, but relevance comes from alignment with real problems, not social media trends. That's why calm analysis matters. Emotional reactions often come from misunderstanding how systems actually work. So when you hear phrases like going live, interpret them carefully. It doesn't mean instant results. It means readiness, capability, and possibility. And possibility is very different from promise. If anything significant happens, it will likely feel underwhelming at first. A technical update, a quiet integration, a small corridor. Real impact is often invisible until it's already established. And that's the mindset that keeps people grounded in this space. Not chasing certainty, not fearing uncertainty, but understanding structure. If you've made it this far, again, make sure you're subscribed if you want more conversations like this. Not predictions, not hype, but clarity. Crypto doesn't reward the loudest voices. It rewards patience, understanding, and risk awareness over time. Whatever happens next with XRP, whether it's gradual progress or continued waiting, it will be one chapter in a much longer story. No single moment defines success or failure. Stay informed, stay calm, and never let urgency replace understanding. That's how you survive markets, and that's how you stay ready when real change actually arrives. And when you zoom out even further, what really stands out is how often the biggest shifts in financial history happen quietly. They didn't arrive with countdown timers or viral headlines. They arrived through back-end changes, internal approvals, pilot programs, and gradual increases in usage that most people never noticed until years later. That's why the idea of going live needs to be understood properly. Financial systems don't wake up one morning and flip a global switch. They move in layers, one corridor at a time, one use case at a time, one institution after another, each watching the others carefully before committing more deeply. In the case of XRP, the conversation around institutions being ready isn't about excitement. It's about maturity. It's about whether the technology, the compliance framework, the liquidity, and the operational reliability have reached a point where using it makes business sense, not just technological sense. Institutions don't care about narratives the way retail investors do. They care about costs, speed, risk reduction, and reliability. If a system can reduce friction without introducing new uncertainty, it becomes attractive. That process doesn't depend on market hype. It depends on proof. If you've been in crypto long enough, you've seen cycles repeat. Hype, disappointment, silence, rebuilding, over and over again. Projects that survive multiple cycles tend to be the ones that focused on fundamentals instead of noise. Another thing to consider is automation. Modern markets are dominated by algorithms. Algorithms don't react to excitement. They react to structure. When conditions align, movement happens. When they don't, nothing happens, no matter how loud the conversation gets.